Perfect. Okay. Number 8, blank and blank entail. What's the name?
Layla.
Layla, what do you say about 8?
P and P entail C.
Easy peasy. What's the name?
Benjamin.
9.
Could C given P.
Perfect. Okay. Behind Benjamin, blank for blank and blank.
C D P.
Yes. 11 up front here.
I don't know what page it's on.
We are on page 187 of the textbook. I don't know what that is in the reader. 200. It has blank, therefore blank. That's going to be P, therefore C. Okay. Next, number 12, from blank it follows that blank. What's the name?
Sierra.
Sierra, what do you say?
From P it follows that C.
Perfect. And 13, who's behind Sierra?
My name's Brianna. C follows from P.
Perfect. Who's behind Brianna?
Mom.
And what about 14?
I don't have the.
Don't have the book. Blank as shown by blank, that would be C as shown by P. Okay. 15, blank as blank. Who's at the end?
Connor.
Connor, what do you say?
P as C.
I think it's the other way around. C as P. So this is the case as, another way of saying as is because, right? And then it makes it that much easier. So again, sometimes if you're not sure about what that word means, try to think of what you think is an equivalent phrasing, and that might be easier for you to determine the answer. 16, who's up front over here? Okay, what about 16?
C, saying that P.
That's awesome. 17, who's next?
Kayla, I put P and C.
That's perfect. Way in the back?
The given P, C.
Yes. Okay. That one's a little bit tricky because you have thus, that's a conclusion indicator, but right next to it is a premise indicator, so that we have to hold off on the conclusion. Does everybody understand that? So again, over here, 19.
Given P, C.
Yes. And 20 is just C since P and P. Everybody got that? Yes.
I'm sorry, 15 and 16, I wasn't too sure on those.
15, C as P. And I would substitute the word because for as, right? And then it makes it easier to figure out that it's C and then P. Okay, that was 15 and you said 16?
Yes.
Seeing that is just another way of kind of saying because, right? So it's going to be C because P, right? So think of equivalent phrasing. A lot of this phrasing is phrasing that you don't normally use. So think of, well, what do I use that's saying the same kind of thing? And hopefully that will make it easier to decide what's what, premise or conclusion. Okay. Now, one of the things that I emphasized at the beginning of the chapter, to be a good critical thinker, you need to be able to see both sides of a situation. Not that both sides are right, but that you can understand why the other person might think that they're right and then they disagree with you. So you need to be able to state your opposition's argument, right? So here I've given you a conclusion and I tell you, give me some reasons for thinking that it's true, even if you don't believe that it's true. Does everybody understand that? Someone believes that it's true. What might they say? Does everybody understand that? Okay, number one's very important here. Okay, so number one, marijuana smoking ought to be made legal for recreational use. Forget this medical marijuana stuff. Just, okay, reasons? Give me reasons why we should make marijuana legal for recreational use.
You said why we should.
Should.
It's the same as alcohol.
What?
It has the same effects as alcohol.
I wouldn't say the same, but I
I
think
mean,
you're
not
on.
like the same, but
can be
it
used for
it
life.
inhibits you the same way that alcohol does. Like, there's not really a difference, so why not?
Okay, let's be let's pump up your argument. It's this. Alcohol is legal. Marijuana is less problematic than alcohol. So if alcohol is legal, marijuana should be made legal for recreational use. Does everybody understand that, right? Can you drink yourself to death?
Yes.
Yes. Can you smoke pot to death?
In some cases, probably.
I mean, for me to,
No, you can't overdose on marijuana. Trust me, I'm an authority. And look, bar fights. Do drunk people start bar fights?
yeah.
Oh, hell yeah. Do stoned people start bar fights? No, they're just gonna hug it out, right? And do people drunk drive and kill themselves and or others? Yeah. When was the last time you heard of a stone driver causing a problem? Never. Why? They're driving 10. Right? They're really focused. And they can't get past a Circle K. Right? Oh, jeez! Right? And then they pull in and then they're there for half an hour and giggling and whatnot. So, my goodness. And then think of all the tax revenues we could make, and then we wouldn't have to worry if someone's messed with what we're buying, blah, 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 blah. Does everybody understand? Okay. 2, the United States ought to provide universal health care for its citizens. Give me some reasons.
Other first world countries do it.
You can increase.
Yeah, okay, wait, time out. Everybody else does. Isn't that kind of what you're saying? Everybody, what did your mom say when you said everybody else does?
Not do it. Like,
No,
Everybody else, if your friend jumps off a bridge, are you gonna jump off a bridge too?
that's what they would say. So just because everybody else does it is not a good reason for doing. It's a good reason to think that it might be good, but you need to figure out independent reason other than just everybody's doing it. That's called the fallacy of appeal to the people. Yes?
Improves the quality of life for citizens.
We'd be healthier, we would live longer, and it is true everybody else does it in terms of industrialized countries, but what was I gonna say? What's the number one reason people go bankrupt in the United States? Medical debt. Medical debt, that's ridiculous, right? And also, if you have universal health care, people are much more likely to do preventative health, right? And if you catch things early or prevent things outright, then the expenses of medical care are that much what? Lower. So why don't we have universal health care? Yes?
Say I'm not too sure, but I'd say partial, like the other side of the argument is that it wouldn't be as advanced because it's not like individual doctors, it's government based. And also our taxes would be higher, some say. I don't know really, that's just what I've heard.
Yeah, okay, so, it might be true that in some cases we have the very best medicine. Does that mean everybody has access to it? It does not, right? And there was this one congressional hearing where the senators were badgering this Canadian doctor in Canada. They have socialized medicine. You know, why do people come to so-and-so for their heart surgeries instead of blah, blah, blah? And she said, I have no earthly idea, because if you look at our mortality rate as compared to theirs, we have a much better success rate, and blah, 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 right? So, we might have the best in some areas, but that doesn't mean that everybody has access to it, right? And then they always talk about, well, if it's government, you're gonna wait. If you need a doctor's appointment with a specialist, do you get in tomorrow?
No.
No, you're waiting. Does everybody understand that? So, gambling such as poker ought to be legal. First of all, poker is not gambling. Poker is a game of skill. Everything else in the damn casino, that's gambling. But poker, you're playing the other players. You're not up against the house's mathematical edge. Does everybody understand that? Baxter v. United States. Baxter was a professional poker player. His winnings were being taxed as unearned income. He said bull crap and went to court and sued and won. That, yeah, that was earned income, that was skill. And yes, there's some luck involved, but there's a reason why there are professionals, because they're skilled. But anyways, why should we make gambling legal? What?
Non-Texas.
Right, so never mind that it's legal here, right? What are some reasons why anyone thinking about whether or not gambling should be legal? Yes?
It's like free will,
What?
the free will.
Let people do what they want? Okay, well, you know, that's a little bit problematic, because what if I want to do crack? Right? What if I want to molest children? I mean, these are just examples. Right, so you gotta tighten it up a little bit, otherwise,
Specific.
yeah. Yes?
I mean, what you said,